Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. This time where no one has gone before. Yeah, we're going there. It's updated. I love where no man has gone before. Where no one has gone before? Probably not going to feel strong, but listen and check out. Speaking of listening to us, if you want some bonus time and you want to really support us, I'm going to say it, patreon.com/IABD. Go there. Brand new levels to contribute. Doesn't take much to get in on that special kind of stuff. It's Thanksgiving. Hey, you can donate and get somebody else a Patreon membership. I don't even know how that works, but you can do it. It's that time. It's the holiday season now. It's the holiday season. Get in on that. And now pull your loved ones close and listen up as we talk about where no one has gone before on It's All Been Trekked Before.
Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. Your regular crew is here. This is Steven.
And Keith.
Jimmy-Jerome. And we have a brand new guest star here, Mr. Joel.
Ensign Joel Savage recording.
Acting ensign?
Yeah.
Acting
we
ensign.
haven't decided if we're going to grade
Yeah, no, that's
You need to apply to the It's All Been Trekked Academy.
He has to be encouraged, but not told.
I have to study. I'm out. See ya.
Obviously not. Before we get started, we're going to be talking the Next Generation episode where no one has gone before. But because we have a new guest on here, Joel, give us your Trek background.
Okay, so I grew up in a Trekkie family. My family had bootleg tape from the television, staticky episodes of Next Generation from the first series all the way up, I think, until the end. We didn't have cable or we lived out in the middle of nowhere, so those were our only entertainment for the longest time.
Oh, so somebody else taped them and then gave them to you somehow?
No, we taped them, but it was off of Fox 28 at 10 o'clock. And they were just staticky episodes. My family are huge Trekkies. And I think I, at a certain age, decided to rebel and got into comic books. And that was my way of going F you the man. But recently, in past couple of last year, I started just kind of picking up episodes of Next Generation here and there, and it's oh yeah, this is actually a really good show. So yeah.
You said you have seen some of the original on and off?
I've seen some of the original on and off. It wasn't in. I mean, now there's a whole I think it's on. One of those satellite or one of those digital channels. It starts with the original series, and then it goes Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. That's a whole block every single night.
Oh man!
So I'm able to pick up episodes here and there, but when I was younger, I didn't really get a chance to see them except here and there.
Any particular episode stand out in your memory of
the original?
Yeah.
The one with Frank Gorsh.
Let that be your last battlefield. Yeah.
Yes.
The half black, half white.
Half black, half white.
Not a great episode.
No, I just remember.
But distinctive.
The only thing I remember is Frank Gorsh sweating and running. That's all I remember. Every scene he was sweating, and then every other scene he was running.
All right, another Star Trek Rewatch podcast, the Warp podcast. I follow them on Instagram, and they just got up to that episode. It was just a picture of him laying flat on the sick bay table.
Yes.
And they were just we know what you're looking at. You know what you're looking at. We don't have to talk about this. Because their units were also probably displayed in that episode.
The reason I was asking is because we do require that our guests do an original series episode. We're not heartless.
Wait, what?
We're not heartless. So if you've seen original, we let you pass. As long as you can talk a little bit about it to prove. Because the people that are we just watched the spinoffs, we're not going to check out the 60s. I'm you guys, give it a rest.
Do the movies count? Because
yes.
I was obsessed with the movies.
The movies are phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're the best. They're better than the series, for sure.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, we're here to talk where no one has gone before. We always start with first impressions of the episode. What do you think?
It's another one of those where we'll get into some of the similarities to the original series, but
mimicked a couple original series episodes.
It's another way to kind of get deeper into a few of the characters. Maybe deeper. I'll say deeper, even though maybe not that deep, but learn a little bit more about them. Some interesting new guest stars, I should say. Can't say I loved it.
No, my impression is not great.
Yeah.
We talked about before we started that the first season overall is regarded as pretty crappy, and we haven't seen a lot of that other than Code of Honor. But this one, I'm yep, this is crappy.
Yeah,
wow.
It started
Sorry.
I started really intrigued, and then I got less intrigued.
Yeah.
But
I rank this with Code of Honor as crap. Some of the other episodes we've seen are actually quite good. So we'll get to more consistent.
I would.
Keith, Joel,
Not great.
your first impressions?
I'll stay with it. Not
I
great.
didn't think it was. I wouldn't have gone crap, but I mean, yeah, I can see it wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I can see why it wouldn't be as good as some
By
of the best
comparison,
ones.
it's still better than Star Wars. I was just picking fight there.
Yeah, I
I was
know.
just picking fights.
Whoa, shots fired. Phasers fired.
I was just picking fights. I'm kidding.
We'll get into this
Phasers
later,
set
but
to
there-
kill.
I mean, I'm not really kidding, but you know.
We'll get into this later, but you may be onto something since you thought this episode was crap, because there are some things that Star Wars stole from this episode.
Oh, that's probably
Even
why I
though
think
it's
it's crap.
next generation.
That's probably why I think
The
it's crap.
prequels, but we'll get into that.
Even though this came out 10 years after the original Star Wars.
No, this is prequel. The prequel stole.
Oh, the prequel still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get into
Oh, God.
Yeah.
There's some things I liked, some things were frustrating, some things I didn't like. But I mean, I wouldn't say that.
Do you like how Zoe talks over everything? Because I know the mic's picking that up.
Maybe not.
Okay. We start out with the USS Fearless. What a name.
That
The USS Fearless.
I don't know if you guys have ever asked this question before, but I'm interested.
Mm-hmm.
If you can name a starship like Galaxy class, what would you name it? Like,
Well,
Thrifty.
And I can't name an Enterprise.
well, it can't be
can't
the
name it
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
No.
in Universe Journey, we only name our starship because it's a
Starsheep?
bureaucratic mess
Oh,
up.
yeah.
After rental car companies. So we do have an Enterprise in the novel, not in the main series. But the Thrifty is a rental car, and the Maru and every other starship.
Can I name
I
it
love
after
it.
myself?
Love it.
Of course you could.
Yes.
Starship Woosley.
Obviously,
that's why-
the USS Woos.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's
the
why you're
Woos, yes.
and that's why you would be guest starring in this episode.
I think we all agree. You said it, Joel, but we all agreed that he would be a great Kaczynski.
Maybe it's a compliment.
Do not
maybe it
disagree.
isn't.
But I did bump on that the Fearless was Excelsior class. So at this point, we've seen the first 4 movies have been released, not 5 and 6, but the Excelsior's been introduced. So I was like, oh, they're using one of their starships from the movies. They already have the model built.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I liked it.
Practical.
Absolutely. And then we're told right away they're going to adjust the warp engines, which feels very original series, The Ultimate Computer for me.
Yeah.
Where they're going to mess with the Enterprise's computers to make them better, Dr. Richard Daystrom.
And it's a similar structure. It's weird that, I mean, he's essentially a consultant, Kaczynski. It's like,
Sure. Well, he doesn't have a rank, you notice?
Right.
He had like a
Exactly,
rectangle,
right.
one
Oh, I didn't
solid
know
and
that.
one empty rectangle. on this
And
thing.
they sold this deal to Starfleet, and they're like, this sounds good, let's put it on all the ships.
Hmm.
And didn't really tell anybody. It's like, somebody's gonna show up, just pick them up, it'll be good.
Let's test it on your best ship.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a guy coming. Let him in.
Yeah. Unlike Ultimate Computer, nobody died.
That's true.
The thing I took away from him coming onto the ship is that there was a character named Argyle, which is a
Yes.
fake Scotty, which is funny because isn't
What?
Argyle a knockoff of Plaid?
Yeah, you might be onto something.
Yeah, Bill Yeager played Chief Engineer Argyle.
Oh.
He's only in this episode. He
I
is
didn't catch the name. That's
I didn't
hilarious.
He is the second
Wow.
of 4 Chief Engineers we get this season. I liked the woman better. What was her name?
Oh,
The woman we had a couple episodes ago was Chief Engineer.
man.
Plaid.
See, I think
Irish woman? No.
They're like Spinal Tap drummers. They're just here.
Yeah, I mean,
We don't even remember them.
I think we mentioned before that we will see 4 different Chief Engineers this season. Each appears only once. Season 2, Geordi gets the job, and we stop.
Why was that? Did they
No idea.
Did they have Geordi in mind, or they were
I don't
just
think
like,
so.
oh,
I don't think so. I think Geordi was envisioned as like a checkoff, like a multi-utilitarian.
Yeah.
And Worf was the same way.
Were these guys all just palate cleansers? So people would be like, I need a Scotty. I need a Scotty. All right. Well, okay. Now I'm ready to move on.
like Will Ferrell to what's his name in The Office? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So Bill Yeager,
Yeah.
who played Argyle, is best known for Edward Scissorhands.
Wait,
He played George. He was a detective in Sid and Nancy, and he was security officer number 2 in Batman Returns.
oh wow.
He also did a 13-episode arc on Gilmore Girls, a great show. So that will be our next series.
Sounds like you said
It's
Gil-
all been Gilmored before.
Sounded like you said Killmore the first time.
That's what I.
That's a whole different series.
Isn't he the villain on Jennifer Jones?
You mean Jessica?
Jessica Jones. Talking about the Purple Man, David Tennant.
Wasn't the villain Kilmore?
Oh, Kilgrave.
Kilgrave.
Oh, sorry.
It's even more. It's even more on the nose. Kill Gray. Kill War wasn't enough.
I actually was wrong when I say he only appears once. Argyle does have a second episode coming up.
Hey!
In this first season. Data Lore. He'll be in Data Lore. This episode was written by Diane Dune, who wrote a whole bunch of the original Next Generation novels. This is the only episode of Next Generation she wrote, and it's what she's best known for at IMDb.
On the Spice Planet.
And Michael Reeves, who also only wrote this episode. Yeah, but he also wrote a bunch of Batman the Animated Series stuff.
Oh.
Okay, so we beam the Traveler and Kaczynski aboard.
Who the Traveler
Yeah.
looks suspiciously like Liam Neeson, does he not?
Aaron
and he has a certain set of skills, so which you can talk about.
As someone noted, I don't know how he types with
those giant fingers.
fingers. Yeah.
He's got 3 instead of 5. Eric Menyuk, best known for this role. He did 3 episodes as the Traveler. We'll get to the other 2. Sorry, Keith.
He's now
Keith
an
hates
attorney.
spoilers.
He retired from acting. He's now an attorney.
He was a runner-up for the part of Data, and this was his consolation prize. Was he got to play the Traveler?
I did like
Make
him,
a good
though.
Data.
Yeah.
I think he would too. I mean,
Yeah.
I really love Brett Spiner. I'm not Brett Spiner. I'm not saying we should replace him, but I
You
can
call
see,
yourself a fan, but you can't even say his name.
I know, right? But I can see the similarities in how he could have been a Data.
Yeah.
Or a Data.
Ooh, what's your take on it?
No, it's Data.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Wait, no, you can say that either way, though. English language.
We had,
It's like Caribbean or Caribbean. Both are correct.
I understand that's correct, but the character's name is Data.
Oh, I see what you're
The
saying.
character, it's not.
Data.
Stanley Campbell, spelled with a K, played Kaczynski. Only 1 episode for him, but he's name dropped in 2 other episodes.
Oh, yeah?
So
Nice.
That sounds suspicious.
He was very funny.
Campbell with a K.
Campbell with a K.
That's made up.
I mean, it's what his IMDb.
Kaczynski
must be
isn't
stage
spelled
name.
like Ted Kaczynski, though, right?
Kosinski.
Oh, I meant.
Turns out he was right.
I guess I
guys.
meant
This is his
Ted Kaczynski was a Unabomber.
ancestor. Right. His ancestor blew up starships. It's,
There you go.
this is what he's 3rd best known for. So again, not a well-known actor. He's
Okay.
best known for a movie called Domino in 2005.
Oh, I remember that
Oh,
one.
that was written by Richard Kelly,
I
who
think I
did
saw that.
Donnie Darko.
And Inland Empire in 2006. He died in 2008 at the
Oh,
age of
no.
65 of a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
Aww.
So he's
R.I.P.
But yeah, so Kaczynski and the Traveler beamed aboard. Anybody for a second? I mean, obviously they were really hamming it up that something was going on with the Traveler from moment 1.
Yeah.
Maybe. I was really distracted by Kaczynski because in fiction, I love those kinds of characters. They just crack me up. The whole arrogant kind of like the swaggering head and just I'm so great. I've done this. Just the whole talking down to them.
I mean, what honestly impressed me was how humble he was in the second half of the episode.
To be
Yeah.
fair, I
Okay.
thought the Traveler was going to be more like Kif to make a Futurama reference. I thought he was just going to be the
You didn't know this episode?
No.
Okay. Yeah, the Traveler's important.
Yeah.
Not it's not so apparent in this episode, but the Traveler's super important later.
Well,
Yeah, but
He has an action figure.
I'm just
for a
saying,
reason.
at the top, I did not. I
I
thought
see.
he was going to be more like a Kif.
I see.
I couldn't concentrate on Kaczynski's. Is it Kaczynski?
Yeah.
I couldn't concentrate on him because when I first saw this, I had an audible gasp when I saw Reichard without a beard because I forgot what that was like.
Oh,
You only get to see it in the first season and Star Trek Insurrection.
That's right. Oh,
were you saying
man.
Riker or Reichard?
Reichard.
R-I-K-E-R.
No.
No, I'm talking about Fred Reichard.
I was going to say
The
that.
local car dealer.
Yeah.
Obviously, he matters in the 24th century. Well, we were talking about how in Universe Journey, all the ships are named for car rental companies.
And Kaczynski is kind of like a car salesman. He's shady.
Isn't there a Netflix series about the Kaczynski method? It was a bad joke.
Wait, I gotta-
We'll get right on by that.
But I did enjoy the first scene where number 1 and Kaczynski are going at it. That's hashtag
Yeah.
petty.
That
That's
was
awesome.
some BDE.
That's what I love.
And right there, I'm like, I'm into this. This is
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's might be my favorite scene of the series so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the intensity was like, oh, this is cool. I like these guys. I'm engaged. No.
Engaged.
Oh, like yes.
They're gonna get married. Wait.
Well, no. It was more like a make it so kind of engage. Wait, but I need to make us some money. We're dealing. There we go.
That's Riker,
Yeah.
the car dealer. So going back slightly from Riker's BDE scene, which I won't say because we don't want this to be
Right.
explicit if we don't have to be.
BDE.
Big energy.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's
What?
a common phrase
I've never-
these days.
Huh.
Big E energy?
D. It's a euphemism.
What is it?
For a male genitalia?
What is it? What are you trying to say?
Dongle. Your dongle.
No, it was like
What is a dongle?
Let me say.
Sorry,
Let me. All right, hold on a second.
Can you put it in words that I can understand?
Okay,
please?
it's a measuring contest. Essentially, that's what I. That's
For
what I would.
what? Like what? What are we measuring? What, guys?
How big their egos are. But before that, Riker was like, or Picard's like, Riker, go down and meet the people. And Riker's like, hey, can I bring Troy to read them and see what they're thinking? Yeah. I'm like, why isn't that standard procedure at this point?
Yeah.
Like, you got an empathetic counselor, use her. Right? What else is her job?
Yeah, and I didn't. I was going to get to the Seinfeld section later, and I will again. But that seemed very much like when George asked Jerry if he can borrow Marlee Matlin. She couldn't read the lips of his girlfriend at a party. It's like she's a girlfriend. She's not a carnival trick. But I guess again, it is.
But it's Troy's job.
It is her job.
It's not Marlee Matlin's job in Seinfeld. Her job in Seinfeld's get out and go do West Wing.
She's a ball girl.
Oh yeah, tennis.
Yeah.
Then we get one of the best
Rewatch it.
lines in the episode. Why is this child here?
My favorite thing about that was that it was part of one sentence. It's like, and here we have the warp drive, and why is the child here? Just like, it was like no pause, just...
And everybody that was watching it was like, why is Wesley here?
Yeah.
Get out of here, Wesley. And take your mom's sweater out of here.
Everybody except Keith and I who like Wesley.
I'm an apologist.
You're the only two people
The only two
in
people in the entire world. In the entire
in the
world.
galaxy.
I know.
The universe.
I know. I understand.
I can defend him a little in this episode. I cannot defend that sweater choice.
While we're on it, let's do our fashion beat.
Fashion.
So Wesley's sweater, yay or nay?
That's a big nay.
Who wore it best?
I agree with Joel. That's his mom's.
That's his mom's sweater, and he was I don't know what he was thinking when he's like, he saw that sweater and he was like, oh yeah, that's a good fashion choice today.
I think
people are gonna want to talk to me, and guess what? Nobody wanted to talk to him through the whole episode.
I think his mom made the sweater for him because we saw an Encounter at Farpoint. She was picking out bolts of fabric, so I think she was knitting. And this was her first attempt.
Wow.
I have a third theory. I think Wesley was putting on her clothes, and he's got a bra underneath there. And she wandered in. It's like, what are you doing? I like your sweater. Oh, really? Well, you want to go to the bridge wearing it? Sure, I'll go. Yeah. I like this sweater. I told you I liked it.
I'm gonna wear it all day.
Is that what happened to the Asian guy that was wearing the dress uniform too? I like your uniform, buddy.
He and his girlfriend's wearing his uniform. He's wearing.
I mean, honestly, I think I would wear the dress if I were on the Enterprise. It seems way more comfortable.
Yeah. Sure.
It's like the Zap Brannigan dress.
Yes. Yeah. Or in University, we mentioned Kake wears the dress often.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I did like the Traveler's outfit.
You did?
Yeah.
It was kind of a sweater too.
It looked like what Peter Gabriel is wearing on the cover of his third album called Peter Gabriel, parenthetically Melt, because it looked like it was probably a solid color and just started melting.
Oh yeah.
So I did like his jumpsuit.
The other, Kaczynski obviously didn't have the pips, and he didn't have a comm badge, which I thought was interesting fashion. The other fashion that I had was, what did you think of Yar's outfit when she flashed back to the rape gangs?
I didn't really catch it.
It seems like even then they could have found a more delicate term than rape gang, but I guess they were really going for the idea that she came from a really rough band. They were just like, they weren't even going to couch it in terms. They're just like, nope, they're a rape gang.
I get it, but it was thrown so casually. It was super disturbing.
Yeah.
Well, she mentioned before in
I know. I understand that, but
she did.
I still don't think you casually throw out rape gangs.
I think she's probably had a pretty good rehabilitation schedule of like training and stuff to kind of get over that. But
well, she takes it out by beating people up.
Yeah.
She just threw out rape gang, but here's the thing that really kind of. Jordy was just like non-phased by it. It was like when the rape gangs were coming after me. Yeah, okay, that sounds that checks out.
I'm gonna get lunch.
He knows what her
guys want a
like.
pita? Anybody else want a pita? Pita?
Okay.
Dana, do you want a pita? No? All right.
Troy, hot fudge sundae.
Well, we've already seen her in 2 separate episodes mention it. She's probably told him before, and he's probably like, yeah, okay.
I get it, but I still would. I don't care. Keith, if you told me 4 years ago when we met that you used to be pursued by rape gangs, and then you threw it out now, I think I'd still be shocked.
In my mind, she started with a delicate term. Now she's to rape gang, and then like the next episode, she's like, rape gang. Do you understand? Are you getting this? All right, I'll see you later. Yeah.
They're probably all like, well, that used to happen on...
Pita?
They're probably like, that used to happen on the original Enterprise to Janice Rand all the time.
Yeah.
So... So they get tossed past 2 different galaxies.
They passed through 2 galaxies, somehow didn't hit anything.
Sure.
Well, the screen actually went through some
You,
things too.
you
It's
do
like-
realize, Stephen, though, that 99% of space is just emptiness.
Sure, but I mean,
So-
what are the odds? I mean, 2 galaxies. How many?
It's
solar
still
systems do you-
99%
It's 99% empty.
No, I was more thrown by 2,700,000 light years was only 300 years to get home, because in Voyager there's 70,000 light years, and that's 70 years to get home. So in that case, I would think this would be 2,700 years to
Maybe
get
it's a
home.
worse ship.
Nerd!
Well, it was. Yeah, I am getting there. I am. No, absolutely.
I'm
Maybe
kidding.
it's only a
I'm
Voyager
kidding.
class.
Voyager was a science vessel, so they might not be as advanced as the Enterprise D.
2 other things about them going whatever beyond the galaxy or whatever the hell. And these are going back kind of the original series too. They're like, oh, no one's ever gone this fast before. Oh, what? They break speed records every friggin' week on the show. The other thing, somebody says it, and they said it several times in the original series, and every time I was like, no. Somebody was like, I think it was Picard, was like, that's impossible. It's like, every week something impossible happens to you. What makes you think this latest thing is not possible? It's possible. Everything is possible.
We're gonna have to.
There are always possibilities.
Well, the
Spock,
traveler's
thank
like, you think this is impossible? Hold my beer. Now I'm going to toss you 1,000,000,000 years. Now I'm going to toss you 1,000,000,000 light years away, which he did later.
This I don't know if we talked about this in the original series stuff or not, but just the warp numbers, like 10 being like the maximum or
So
something.
in Next Gen, it's a different system. They've established that in canon, that sometime between original and Next Gen, they reset the numbers. And then sometime in Next Gen, they're going to implement a speed limit, like Warp 5, except in extreme emergencies or something.
Oh, so like
Because-
signs posted floating in space. Like,
No, but it's their environmental episode where they're like,
And they didn't run into it.
fast warps are just tearing holes in the galaxy or something. I can't remember. I don't think I've seen that episode.
So with
We'll get to
Voyager,
it.
they had a liquid crystal kind of thing. Did that make it go faster?
The
at all?
dilithiums?
Yeah.
That's what they have here.
no,
And
but
they
they had a liquid
re-energize.
version. Didn't they have a liquid version of it in Voyager?
Guess we'll
Nerd.
find out.
No. I'm going to call you a nerd
don't
now.
know?
No, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they do.
You could very well be right.
I could, and I am. Don't look it up.
Now, when we get to the part of Voyager where this comes up, we're going to have you back and
No!
put you on the hot coals.
I'll be dead by then.
Oh, we won't.
In just
You
10
see
years.
the way we're all drinking liquor. We're not going to remember. So then the Traveler tells Wesley, space, time, and thought, they're not separate things. Wesley figures out for himself. That, to me, is the one concept in this episode where I'm like, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I want to think about that. I want to explore that. Joel, you had mentioned that this was very similar to the Nexus, except they're not fully immersed. They're just seeing images.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think there's definitely some echoes of Star Trek Generations gets the material from here.
I think when they were writing the movie, because it wasn't the same writers from the show, right?
Brandon Braga and Ron Moore did write on the show, but not in this first season.
So I think they just randomly picked one from when they were writing the movie. They're like, let's just randomly pick one episode. This one.
That's how they got Wrath of Khan. Spacey just came out of the bag. Yeah, I mean, Khan was so random because Space Seed is not the best episode by any means, but
But it's the best movie.
it is. It is.
I'm controversial take, guys. Wrath of Khan is a great movie.
What? What? What are you gonna throw down here?
Not Nemesis. Settle down, all you Nemesis fans.
I defend the Final Frontier. God, what does God need with a starship?
What does God need with a starship?
It's my favorite line of anything.
Yeah, but it's a terrible movie. When they were in engineering, did you notice Wesley's stool was super tall, so you could see over the Traveler's shoulder?
Oh, yeah.
They make kid-sized stools in engineering.
Prop department right there. They're like, well, we need to make this scene work, so we gotta get this taller stool to do the thing. And
While we're there, and I know they explain it later, but when the Traveler looks at Wesley, I'm like, what kind of pedo vibe is going on?
I got that too.
He was like, I really dig that sweater.
And then later he's like, I must be the captain. And everyone's like, okay, this seems. I mean, okay.
Can you put on the sweater?
I will not spoil it for Keith, but the Traveler's Returns are very heavily Wesley stories.
Of course,
So
of course they
It's yeah, I think there is some connection there.
Not watching them. No, I'm just kidding.
I've seen them before. It's just I don't really remember them yet.
Been a while.
Send Wesley out? I want to. He's the only one who can help me.
Maybe that's why Crusher's hair looked so bad this episode.
man.
She was stressed out about
Wesley.
Wesley.
her boy
I can't
hanging
do
out.
it.
Wesley's the only
Mr.
one.
Herbert,
Yeah.
Yeah,
what did you think of the special effects when they were traveling super fast?
blobs and
Is
stuff.
that the original special effects, or is it or is that
Yeah,
I think
remastered?
so.
I'm pretty sure it's the original.
It was pretty good for late '80s television. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was pretty good.
I mean, it honestly, obviously the 60s effects were terrible. But it reminded me of the movies effects, just one notch down.
yeah,
Like what they did for the first
To be
four
fair, they were
films.
limited by the minds of the crew members because that was in their minds.
Right.
oh
but,
yeah, right.
I mean, so you look at the 2009 Star Trek films, the three new ones, as crappy as they are.
We'll get to that.
Yes. Beep out new films.
They are new. No, but the special effects from that versus the special effects of Discovery are basically the same. We're at the point now where a television budget can do film level special effects.
Yeah.
But in the 80s, that wasn't the case.
Right.
So I feel like they tried to copy what they'd done in the first four films, but on their
Right.
budget, they had to take it down a little bit.
I wasn't distracted by anything. It wasn't like,
No.
oh, this looks horrible. or
Right.
anything, so.
It was much better than anything we saw from the 60s show.
Sure.
Or the 70s animated
It
series.
was better than Doctor Who.
Yeah, Doctor Who's always been 20 years behind in special effects. But yeah, I thought it wasn't bad. I did think it was weird when they said our speed never exceeded warp 1.5, but I guess that plays into the whole
Yes.
space-time thought being the
Yeah.
same thing.
Right.
And it definitely got into a shore leave vibe. I think you mentioned it.
Yeah.
I really got into the Naked
check
Now
that off.
vibe a little bit.
That too, Ghostbusters, because it was like,
The Stay Puft.
can everyone clear their thoughts? Like,
Yeah.
of course not. Somebody's gonna think of the Stay Puft Marshmallow.
Right. Or fire, of course. Because
So
why would you think of fire?
the thoughts we had the Targ, which that was a big step backward from the movie Targ. The movie Targ in Star Trek 3 that
remember the
Christopher
Targ.
Lloyd, the Klingon, had his pet on the
Oh
bridge.
yeah.
Oh, the
Oh, it was a
You're
big
right.
slimy creature, and this
Yeah.
was like a
This-
pig with a sweater.
I thought that was an Enemy Within homage. 'cause
Oh, it could
They
be.
just put a horn on a
on a dog.
yeah.
This was kind of like that, a sweater
Yeah.
on a pig. Then we got
There's a horn in
Speaking
it,
of
too.
sweater
Yeah.
and a pig, way better sweater than Wesley Crusher's. Got him again! 1-2 punch, Wesley. Get off that bridge.
I'm a Wesley apologist, and I can't disagree with that. Then we saw Tasha Yar's cat, which it was just Spot, right? It was
Maybe?
Data's future cat
It was,
Spot.
it was an orange stripe.
Maybe that's-
cat, so.
Yeah, but that's what Data get. Well, Data always
That's
hung
how
up on
Data-
Tasha Yar.
That's how Data got the idea for a
makes
cat,
sense.
for Spot.
Could be.
sense.
Then we
It
got
all makes
The Door to Nowhere, which was very National Lampoon's Las Vegas Vacation ripped that off when Chevy Chase almost falls off the dam. Or Doctor Strange ripped it off in the MCU. Obviously it's something that's been done before, but it was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
The ballet dancer was clearly just Uhura, right?
Yeah.
Like Uhura's granddaughter or
Yeah.
something, because she looked so
Yeah.
much like Uhura.
Yeah.
And then we had the string quartet, which their bows did not match the music being played, but they were still kind of fun.
I did like
they're
those.
the wrong
I
kind of
will
bows
say
for
I
that.
like those flights of fancy, for lack of a better term. I like that we spread it around to different crew members, and
Yeah.
And
even
then-
though it was
I
the
would-
shore leave thing, but
But we had Herta Ware play Yvette Picard, Picard's mommy.
oh yeah.
Only episode of this she's in. She's best known for Cruel Intentions, where she played Mrs. Sugarman,
Oh.
and Cocoon, Practical
played
Magic,
one of the cocoons.
Species, Rosie Lefkowitz,
They've got,
and she was in the classic film Species with Natasha Henstridge,
She played the cocoon in that one.
Mrs. Morris. Yeah,
just in time for the Actors Theater to be doing Dangerous Liaisons.
we never see Picard's mother again, and I feel like it was a real wasted moment. If we're gonna see Picard's mother, let's make it mean something. Let's not throw it away.
Yeah.
The captain's mother.
Right. There should be a reason he's thinking about her.
Right.
And I feel like that.
I mean,
well,
Kirk's mother was never seen for a reason.
no, we saw his brother. Speaking of
We
which,
saw her mother
relatives.
in the movie.
Captain Kirk? Oh, in the new movies don't count.
Oh.
No, in the original series, I don't know if you remember, they had an episode where Kirk went and found his brother's dead body on a planet. It was William Shatner with a mustache. George Kirk.
And he wasn't that upset about it.
Why-
I'd like to get back to Picard's
yes.
mother.
Why did they give?
We'll get
Chris
to that
edit
when we
that.
rank our men and women
Yeah.
in Star Trek.
Why'd they give Mrs. Picard crazy eyes? Like what? She just
Well-
kept going like, yeah.
That
What?
must be what Picard thought of her.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got one son that's a starship captain and one son that stomps on grapes, so...
Crazy eyes and a crazy accent. I was expecting her to go any second.
Yeah, she wasn't French, was she?
Yeah.
She wasn't French.
She was French. She was doing
She
a
was?
really poor French accent.
She felt
couldn't
more
tell what she
Polish
was
or
doing.
Yiddish or something.
That's
to
what
me.
I thought.
It was Americanized. French.
It wasn't Yiddish.
It must be each of
I
our
don't-
thoughts. We
I
heard
don't
it
know.
differently. What we thought we wanted to hear.
Oh my God, Steven. Well, space time and thoughts
wasn't-
are the same.
Guys, she wasn't in the episode.
So then the Traveler phases, which I thought were also cool special effects.
Yeah, I
He
did
was
too.
phased, but there was
Yeah.
something going on with him.
Yeah.
It's translucent.
Yeah.
But like there were things moving across. Anyway, but then they instead of taking up the sick bay at first, they had a bed in engineering. Do you notice that?
Well,
I did
He
not.
was on a bed, but it was still in engineering.
Based on how many people
I
get
thought
beat up in
it-
engineering, it's probably a good idea they finally did that. Based on the original.
It must be a
series.
bed that like folds up and down though, because it wasn't there. in the
It's a
scene
Murphy
before.
bed. It goes right into the wall.
Okay.
You're missing it. It was generated by thought. They're like, you need a bed. Bam, there it is.
Gotta see it. Man, I'd
Keith,
love to
you
lay
solved
down.
the problem.
So we're getting near the end of my notes, but Picard's like, Wesley, why didn't you tell us what's going on? And Riker's like, he tried twice. I didn't listen to him. I thought that
Yeah.
that
That's
wasn't
fine.
bad.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
really cool of Riker.
Yeah.
Rikerd.
No D.
Ricard.
Ricard.
That's really cool of Rikerd.
No, I thought, I mean, that's the 24th century man that's going to put his
Yeah.
ego aside and he's going to admit when he's wrong. And I mean, I like Riker, but that's a very good
I don't know if I
Riker
like
moment.
this 24th century.
You don't like Riker's
Oh, no,
apologism?
I do like
So-
Riker. I did like
so-
Picard wished him Wesley. He wished him well, and but then he called him the boy. It was just a very weird scene where he made him acting in this ensign, wasn't
Speaking
it?
of
Yeah.
things Picard calls Wesley,
Yeah.
he calls him Wes.
Does he call him Wes?
He calls him Wes instead of
missed
Wes, which my name's Woosley and I'm called Woos. So in a way it makes sense, but I think
So-
we're all used to Wes, so it just sounds weird.
My sister's name is Melissa, my baby sister. And
call her
I,
Liz.
when she was very young, started calling her Liz because there's not a nickname for Melissa.
Sure.
The rest of the family has called her Liz since then. I'm like, it's Liz, not Liz.
Well, there's-
So I totally get what happened
Well,
here.
there's also Mel.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for Melanie.
Yeah, that's what we call my
Alright,
sister. No.
And my Melissa is M-A-L-I-S.
So Mal.
And then he told him to go to surf. First of all, they gave Wesley no choice in the matter. They're like, hey, you're an acting ensign. Not do you want to be an acting ensign? 15-year-old that has no
So
future.
the Me Too movement hasn't really.
I was gonna say, in the future, some things are
Well, they're
better,
respectful
but-
to women, they're not respectful to young boys.
Yeah,
You know
children are still indentured servants.
You know what? Maybe young white straight males. Maybe they shouldn't have a choice.
Well, I thought it was the military attitude. Because he's
Yeah.
like, you also have to apply for the academy. And it's like, what if I wanted to pursue a civilian career?
Well, as we said, he was asking for it.
Oh.
He
The
has
position, the job.
Yeah, he has been asking for
Yeah,
it. He
yeah.
has. Can I be on the bridge?
The metaphorical rape gangs promoting him. Yeah, I mean, I guess it worked out, but to me that just felt like an off scene. It should have been a really triumphant moment for Wesley, and
Right.
it was not.
Yeah.
Well,
Really?
because it was Wesley. If it was
Oh.
any other person,
Oh.
everybody would be like cheering.
Well-
but nobody cares about Wesley.
Okay, seriously,
Wes.
let's come back to something. We've remember the whole fantasy thing, the Naked Time episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're drunk.
You think
I
this was
love that
Wesley's
episode.
fantasy that he got promoted to acting ensign?
Don't you remember he wanted to be told he wanted to be given orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
yeah.
wanted to be ordered to be an acting ensign. And
But did
blah, blah, blah.
Picard get filled in on all the details of that?
He sensed it, I'm sure.
I think from a watching it standpoint, it would have been nicer if it was a scene in their little conference room off the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we could have got more out of Wesley as it was. I think they wanted to be like, "Hey, everybody, we respect the boy," and but I think it didn't have the impact.
Yeah.
So he was just kind of like, "Okay, I'll do it." He's not gonna say no then.
I don't know, but like at this point in the series, like Picard is kind of afraid of showing emotions a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So he has to kind of do it in front of the crew as like his kind of like their wingman.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because he kind of needs his
That too.
backup
Uh-huh.
to,
Yeah.
to
That's fair.
kind of
Yeah.
make himself kind of vulnerable like that.
37 minutes, 25 seconds. Joe finally got authentic and serious.
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you about. For a palate cleanser, let me tell you what I thought about when the first time I saw Data in this episode. You can tell that Data got a motion chip at the end of the
Yeah.
show because in this episode he's super skinny, so he gets his emotions and he just starts eating his emotions. Boom! Got him. Take that, Brett.
Yeah, you just. Oh, man.
Wow.
I happened to notice I was just flipping on IMDb while we were talking. Victoria Dillard played the ballerina in this.
Okay.
She's not gonna. I mean, she was in Coming to America, Ali.
Okay.
But she did 91.
That's why she looked familiar.
She did 91 episodes of Spin City. If you're a Spin City fan, she's Janelle Cooper.
Yes, she was.
Wait, the secretary?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's
I thought that was worth pointing out.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Another
wait.
crossover.
Also another crossover. What's his name? Fry from.
Billy West?
Futurama.
No, Fry. Or Cameron. I'm sorry, Cameron from
Alan Ruck.
Alan
Generations.
Ruck is in Generations and in Spin City.
Ah, and they were both in Kevin Bacon. Or
They both married Kevin Bacon.
Heather Locklear was on Spin City and on T.J. Hooker with Shatner.
Oh!
Now we got it.
Wait, Michael J. Fox was in Spin City, and he also goes back in time, just like the Traveler. Bam!
My initial reaction was, and this goes back to, why not get Sally Kellerman to play Picard's mom?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would have been a good one.
Tie it in. It's where no one has gone before. She even where no man has gone before.
Yeah.
I mean, even if the title wasn't. I mean, that title, they came so close to saying it. I think the closest was Data, where none have gone before.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that bothered
Which was
me.
just a misline reading.
That shot bothered me because he was like he had such like a smile on his face for an emotionless robot whose whole point is he doesn't understand emotions. He was like, whoa, nobody's been here before.
Well, and then later
and then
in the
it was
episode
like-
gives Georgie that look.
Yeah,
That look.
That was weird too.
Yeah.
Well, later people told him, like, that's not the way you react to this. He was trying it out. He's like,
Early
"Is this
days,
how-
they're figuring out
is
the
this
show.
how- is this
I
how-
mean,
is this how
Spock
you react?"
smiled in the original pilot.
Well, Spock was half human, though.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
still,
true.
Still.
I thought that Picard was really dismissive in his one log about, they're stuck and they're going to try something. He's like, and our only hopes rely on a dying alien. Like, he was like, our only hope is this terrible refuse.
This jabroni
Yeah,
over
wasn't it?
here.
Well, what I was gonna say, I had the term "dying alien" written down because it was an odd thing to say for calling it an alien. Like from the perspective of anyone would be like everyone's an alien or something. The kind of.
But
it's an
in
odd
that
term.
context,
From a certain
isn't
point
that
of
something
view.
that he just found out that it's a species that they didn't know anything about?
Yeah.
And technically he would be an alien
Okay.
to,
Well,
to
And
them.
then he doubles down because he's like, our only hopes are with a dying alien. Though he is kind of humanoid. What does that have to do with it? What
I
does
didn't
that
catch
have to
that.
do with it?
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, man.
As if the
Did we
Horta,
just-
the Horta saved people and it wasn't human at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird where they're like, why haven't you visited us before? And he's like, you simple-minded people.
Yeah.
I mean, the rock
Yes.
creature from the Savage Curtain was able to get all those people from the past.
That's
there.
true.
He wasn't humanoid at all. He's one of my favorites. Well, in appearance. I hated his personality.
And their notes before we go to rankings.
I've got a couple more.
Okay.
This is the Star Wars section of the podcast. They reference the Outer
Sued.
Rim, which I thought was interesting because that's where Tatooine is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
But that was a long time ago in a galaxy far away.
Well, yeah, but
Maybe they went into that galaxy when they
but
crossed the
Tatooine's
galaxies.
still there, though, right?
I guess.
I should
Probably
I mean,
not.
Do you think it's?
The Death Star 4 blew it up.
You're not far off on that being a possibility, unfortunately.
Star Wars Episode 93.
So I can't remember. I should have wrote this down. The Traveler's line about your reality or whatever he was saying. In The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon Jinn says, always remember your focus determines your reality. He essentially was saying the same thing. Your focus determines your reality. And so that was a ripoff. And so was, and then I don't know if they use those exact words, but I thought the Traveler essentially said Wesley was the chosen one or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah,
effect.
essentially he was calling Wesley the one to bring balance to the
Yeah.
Force.
One of them. So
I mean,
that
we'll
shows
get
us
to
the
that.
end.
We'll get to that in a future episode.
That's two things. But so those are my Star Wars one. Now right into the Seinfeld section. Kaczynski is Costanza.
Obviously.
He's like, as long as you believe the lie, it's great. And then when they catch him, he's like, was that wrong? Should I not have done that? Essentially was what he was
So
saying.
my alternate episode now is Kaczynski goes back to the coffee shop and tells Jerry, Elaine, and Kramer about this experience.
Yeah.
It was also crazy that Kaczynski got caught eating a eclair out of the trash. I was like, that's out of nowhere. And he's like, it was on top!
Do you have an alternate episode?
So in my alternate episode, when they go through the galaxy barrier,
Uh-huh.
a couple crew members get zapped with all this weird energy.
And they get silver eyes?
Yes, and they become godlike creatures, and then
Jean R. Picard.
then Riker has to, using his cunning and a laser gun, ends up killing them. And
William R. Riker.
exactly. Yeah, William R. Riker. So that was my alternate episode. They could have kept the same title almost. And my only other note was about they bring up magic. You know how I hate that. I
Magic
do not
does
like
not
it.
belong in Star Trek. Save
And
it for Star Wars.
What I wrote was, is it magic or magics from the Magics of Magastu? I can't believe we referenced the animated series twice in this episode.
That's the thing. Okay, to bring it to comic books.
Yeah.
In the MCU, that's what Thor's magic is basically science that we as humans perceive as magic. So
Sure.
it's kind of the same thing. But
So-
then they just prove it with
about Doctor
Doctor
Strange's
Strange like 3 years later, whatever. 15 years later, 16 years later.
I absolutely get that perspective. I think our complaint in these original series magic stuff
Yeah.
is Spock's the one that's like, it's magic. And we're like, Spock would not say it's magic. Spock would say it's science we haven't explained yet.
Yeah.
If it was anybody
he's like-
but Data calling it magic, we're good. If Data calls it magic, we're like, what the heck?
So if
It might have also been a Cars reference here.
But what if Spock went, guys, I have elf ears.
Wait,
this is magic, y'all.
Oh my god. Spock is an elf. This just blows up the
The
original.
song is like right there, and I can't quite get it.
Keith, whether no change.
There it is. All right, so I needed to represent Marianne's opinion for something here. It's in my Wesley apologist section, which is a lot of the way that these kinds of characters are written. They're doing the trope where Wesley's saying, "Hey, Riker, I've got something to tell you," and that little simpering, whiny voice, of course. And of course, Riker's like, "Okay, whatever. No, I don't have time for this." But Riker also earlier was saying, something's up. I want more information. I wonder if somebody can help me figure out what's going on. And Wesley's like, hey, I've got some information for you about what's happening. Shut up. Oh, we can't give it away this soon in the episode.
Right.
So, Anyway.
That's true. This episode should have only been 15 minutes long.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about.
So the other thing,
Hey, Riker, there's something weird with the traveler. Oh, let's check it out. Oh, okay, maybe we shouldn't do this test. Dun, 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 I went to the wrong Superman. Yeah, I was trying to go to the end.
And Superman flies by.
Well, Superman would just rotate the Enterprise backwards. They go back to where they were.
we're getting sued either way. So whatever music we have.
I don't think
magic.
we've gotten past like 8 seconds. So
No, I think we're-
So the whistling thing, was that the first time in this series?
it seemed like it
I
to
could do-
me.
That thing?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
when he's about to make an announcement. It
Yeah.
seemed like
Oh.
it was.
Oh, it happens so often in the franchise that I've just tuned it
Keith
out.
and I decided that might have been what replaced the eject button. Was he pushed that?
In the original series, Kirk was accused
God.
of accidentally hitting a button on his chair armrest that ejected somebody into space and killed them.
Really?
He didn't really do it. He was framed, but yes, apparently there's a button on the captain's chair that could eject a pod.
Just certain people?
Yeah, I guess. Eject a pod that the guy was working in.
That's been a running joke, like pretty much
Yeah.
ever since. Just to,
Yeah, it's like, be careful
Oh
what
my
button you
god!
put on your chair.
That's why they have so many what are they called? Cheap engineering for the first season.
Picard's
He's like,
like,
God,
nope,
God
Argyle.
bless it. Argyle,
Yep.
Argyle. He's like pushing the button and there's Argyle in front of the screen. Just come on, swinging by.
the thought energy thing, along the lines of what Jimmy was saying earlier, that is something I've thought about a lot, actually, as far as the nature of reality and collective thought and blah, 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 but whatever.
Always remember,
We could
your
spend an
focus
hour
determines your
talking-
reality.
Yeah.
We could spend an hour talking about that, and I think it would be really interesting, but this isn't that podcast.
Right.
You got any other notes you want to toss in?
Nah.
Okay. So, we rank Wesley on an annoyance scale of 1 to 10 in this episode. Where was he? 1 being the least annoying, 10 being the most.
I'd give him a 50 plus.
So we're going to put you down for 10.
We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming.
I'm going to go in for 2, because I think it was
Wesley
slightly
Crusher.
annoying, but I don't think it was too bad.
I'm gonna give him a 5.
5? Okay.
Yeah, just
Did you forget the sweater?
that's part of it. It's not that I didn't. The sweater and a little bit, maybe not quite the whining, but even his eyes were like
Yeah.
blink, 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 blink. Like
I'm trying to remember my line.
Yeah, I'm gonna go higher than normal, like a 4, I think, actually,
4,
because
yeah.
I will say there's the way it was written. There is some of the mannerisms that were kind of like yeah, but so yeah.
So Wesley's annoyance factor hit an all-time high of 5.25 on a scale of 1 to 10, putting you down for a 10.
That's pretty low.
It's the highest he's gotten so far this
Guys,
series.
did we watch the same episode?
I mean, I still have him as a 2. So I think I balanced you out and they hit the middle. We ask and also follow up, who was the most annoying character in this episode? Was it Wesley or was it somebody else?
I enjoyed everybody's performance in this.
Yeah.
Except for Wesley Crusher.
So Joel says Wesley's the annoyance in this episode.
The guy with the fire who was thinking about the fire.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Why are you
Sweaty
thinking
mate?
about that? And come on, get your...
Sweaty doctor?
Yeah, get it together.
That's offensive.
Yeah, get it together.
I'm sorry.
Stop thinking about... Why are you thinking about fire? Why are you thinking about fire?
Why are you thinking about
Because,
What is this?
because they told him to think about anything except fire. So of course he thought about fire. I'm gonna go with Kaczynski. I'm sorry, he was the annoyance in this episode.
I loved
was,
him,
but he was
though.
hilarious.
Everything that he
I
was chewing up
I
scenery.
enjoyed
Yeah.
him very much. I enjoyed the performance. I enjoyed the actor. But he was the character
far
who
as
was
the story
like, just
goes,
get it
yeah.
together and you're fine.
But he did, though.
He did.
Wesley Crusher at the end, still annoying. I think I'll tell
Why
Mom
were the
later.
ballerina and the violin guy the only ones that had positive thoughts?
I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm going with Kaczynski. Keith, who are you going with?
Fire guy.
Fire guy.
Yeah, he was just like, what's going on?
The fire guy
Where's
gets
the
2
fires?
votes.
Think,
Fire
man.
guy is the annoying.
Kirk would have smacked him and just went, think, man, think!
Oh, McDougal was the chief engineer. I know because I have just flipped to our men-women of Star Trek.
Right.
And she is still mine. Steven, you're still on woman leaning on guy in engineering orgy from episode 2.
I'm going to go with the ballerina.
The ballerina,
Yeah.
I know she hit your Uhura vibe.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with McDougal. I really liked that chief engineer. Although Argyle tempts me. I mean, I liked Argyle. Keith?
Ballerina, obviously. Especially now that I know. Yeah, the same. Yeah.
I picture Argyle eating a donut and having a cigar in his mouth while he's giving orders.
I liked when the 2 officers are running in the deck,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
like, "Can't you see?" The girl
It sounded like Wesley.
that was with them, very 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 cool,
Mm-hmm.
and but Kaczynski just was
Oh, yeah. He's got some BDE, too.
oh man, he was he just man
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
just I was like all right, I would melt in your arms. Yeah.
So you're going to go Kaczynski
I'm
then?
gonna go Kaczynski.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a valid choice. Absolutely.
Especially after the first successful trial and he swaggers up on that bridge, like
Man, you have me questioning McDougal now, but I really like McDougal.
Well, and
I'm gonna
I-
stick with
Head waggle.
McDougal.
I think for to go a different direction, that was a great choice of this guy's egomaniacal, whereas the doctor
Daystrom.
on Old Computer was more of a, I've done these great things and I've been discredited and now I'm getting it back and
I like Kaczynski more than I like Daystrom.
yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
Kaczynski had the ego, but once he was pointed out that he was wrong,
Yeah.
he did not react in the stereotypical manner. He became human,
Yeah.
which I liked.
Was
And
I
that's
wrong?
what was so
Should I
sexy.
not have done that?
I agree with you. I agree with you. He was sexy. I'm not going to deny it. Ranking the episode, let's start from the bottom. Better than Code of Honor, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so,
Yeah.
Encounter at Farpoint is our next one up, really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we have Encounter at Farpoint 3 of 4 so far.
Oh.
Is this better or worse than Encounter at Farpoint?
Which one is that one?
The pilot?
Oh yeah, this one is better than that.
Really?
I think I like the pilot.
I like the pilot too, but
It's
I
got
think the
cute.
pilot's better. I think the pilot's better.
No, yeah.
no, you're saying
the pilot's
you're
better.
saying it backwards. I think.
Wait,
You think pilot was better than this?
I think the pilot was better than this.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, I
then
think
we're
we're
all on the same
agreeing.
page.
Yeah.
You're saying it.
Keith, are you going to break ranks?
I loved it. It's 3.
Wait, 3 would put it above Encounter at Farpoint.
No, 4.
Okay. So we're all agreed it's above Code of Honor, but below Encounter at Farpoint. That
You
is
guys are just
unanimous.
gonna put between Best of Both Worlds as like number 1, right?
Well, we only rank by season. We rank by season.
Oh,
And
okay.
then we rank seasons against each other.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember
But yeah,
Both
best of Both Worlds definitely blows everything out of the water of what we've done so far.
Oh my God.
I'll agree with you.
And
Okay.
anything with Q.
Where's that from?
I mean, Q's pretty awesome.
Van Hager.
And then Q2, Corbin Benson.
Ah,
your
Q2,
second
Corbin
album.
Benson, yes!
Next week, we'll be talking Lonely Among Us. While distracted by 2 antithetical races applying for Federation membership, the Enterprise picks up a sentient entity that can alternately possess either a man or machinery.
Oh, not woman. I thought it was like man.
Yeah, I thought you were sticking with the binary.
I wonder if there's any
No.
machinery that can walk around the ship and might cause a problem. You know what? I'm not going to think about it.
Written by DC Fontana and Michael Halperin.
DC Fontana.
DC Fontana of the original series, Genie's
nice.
secretary.
Oh, wow.
So, until then, live long.
And prosper.
Make it
Shut up, Wesley.
It's All Been Done presents.
Who's got the time?